I was reminiscing with my son the other day about how when he was 9 months old, we watched Lord of the Rings together. Now, he has no memory of this, of course, and he didn't really watch it. He was just sitting in his bouncy seat in front of the TV, and the colors and the noise kept his attention and made him smile. Anyway, J.R.R. Tolkien is the author who brought us Lord of the Rings. So I did a little research on Tolkien. His full name, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, and he died in 1973. That is during my lifetime. I always thought Tolkien was someone who existed centuries ago and lived in Middle Earth, but apparently he just wrote about it. He didn't live there. So as I read up on him, I also learned that he used to bite his nails when he wrote, like down to the bone. Yeah, apparently Tolkien had a lot of bad habits. That was the longest setup for one of the worst puns I have ever written and you will ever hear. Please forgive me for putting you through that.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Podfulness. Let's get started.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Podfulness. Today's guest is Vikki Lange. Vikki lives in Boise, Idaho, and she comes to Idaho by way of New Jersey and St. Louis, which we will talk about. Vikki is wise, she's insightful, and the quality that I love the most about Vikki is the fact that she is sarcastic, but she's sarcastic without being mean. And that is a gift. I do love sarcasm, so hopefully we'll be able to see that side of her during our time together. And we're going to talk about one of her favorite podcasts that's called All There Is with Anderson Cooper. So instead of me talking about it, let's just dive into the interview and let me introduce you to Vikki Lange. Let's get to it. Vikki, you hail from New Jersey, right?
From South Jersey, actually,
Oh,
yes.
South Jersey. It's a different breed of
Yeah.
person in South Jersey.
100%, yes.
And then you moved to St. Louis. You were raised there, and now you live in Idaho. How much further west can you go, lady?
Well, there's an ocean here.
Oh,
And
that's
then
where you
beyond
stop.
the ocean. Well, those beyond the ocean. I could just keep going. I
Yeah,
could just
don't
keep
stop.
traveling west.
Right. So Vikki Lange is with us. Vikki, we have worked together for a while. You live there in the beautiful state of Idaho, which is becoming more and more of a destination for people, isn't it?
It is, but we don't want any. We're shutting all the doors. No
Are you?
more people can come in. It's
Do you have
pretty
any
crowded
signs
here
out
now.
that say we're full? The inn is closed. We're full.
Well, we'll keep you for a little while, spend your money, and then go back home.
Right. But you love it there. Would you ever move back to Jersey? Would you ever move to back to St. Louis?
There's so many amazing people there. I would not, because I love the mountains and the rivers, and we're in a desert over here, and people
Yeah.
don't know that because we're so north to Canada. But would I move? Yeah, eventually when we retire, whoever has the first grandkid is probably where we're going to end up.
Oh, that's
So
that's a lot of pressure on your kids. And you have you and Alan, you have 2 daughters, adult daughters, and 2 bonus daughters, right?
Exactly. Yep, I
So
do.
so of these 4, who do you think is going to have the first baby? Like
Oh my
where are the betting
gosh.
odds?
Well, one's been married for 11 years and there's still nothing,
Okay.
One couple for sure is not ever going to have kids, so that's fine. And the other 2 are like in the running now.
Okay. That's
Yeah. So,
there's a competition.
well, one of them just told us that she wants to have 3 boys. Now, she didn't say if I have 3 girls, why I still keep trying for 3 boys, but that's the plan. Pretty much took her fiance off guard when she said that in front of us, but I'm fully confident that she will have those first ones, and she's in Ohio.
Oh, good. Okay. Coming to the Midwest. So growing up in St. Louis, it's a sports town. Are you into sports? Are you a sports fan?
Well, you have to be a Cardinal fan when you live there,
Yeah.
baseball Cardinal fan. We
Right.
did not. I was a football Cardinal fan until they moved to, where'd they go? Arizona. Once they
Arizona.
leave,
Yep.
I don't keep track. But I am a full-blown, full-blooded Kansas City Chiefs all the way. Even
Oh, no
when
kidding.
Tony Gonzalez was a Chief is when
Yeah.
I was following them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big
Yeah,
time.
he was so good. And is that because I guess Kansas City, St. Louis. So when the Cardinals leave, you have to find a team and you
Mhm.
latched on to Kansas City. And even the Rams then came to town
But then they left us.
But then they left.
See
What
what
is it about
happens.
St. Louis and football?
Can't hold it down. But Kansas City's been keeping it, and Arrowhead Stadium is amazing, and it's the whole city gets involved in it, and it's very enthusiastic when you're out there on game days. Yeah,
Yep, and they've had a lot of support even when they weren't doing as well as they're doing now.
I was one
So,
of them.
yeah, of course. So, for a living, you're in sales. Have you always been in sales?
Always
Oh,
been in sales.
just in your blood?
I think it's funny. I can credit my father for this. As soon as I graduated from college, he goes, I know someone. And he got me an interview, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I got into sales right away. And I just love talking to people and building relationships, not so much it's the art of the deal and the finessing of the relationship where they trust you and you trust them, and it's your a greater purpose. And so I think what I always liked about it, even though in the beginning I didn't do well, what I really liked about it was I have lifelong friendships now with people that I call my beloved customers, and that's
Right,
what I love. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Do you send them holiday cards? Do you ever get together with them for
I'm
dinner or
invited to
lunch?
of course, I'm
Yeah, that's
invited
great.
to their weddings, their graduations of their kiddos, because I bring the good presents, right? Because you just bring cashola, and they're so excited about that.
Right.
Um, but no, I take that very humbly that they trust me with that, and I love that. So I've been in Idaho calling on our schools for about 14 years now,
Yeah.
and made some really great relationships. Now these people are starting to retire. I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm not done with this yet.
Right, right, right. Don't leave me. Right. But I have to retire. No, but what about me? Says
No,
Vikki.
don't go yet. One more year.
So now I know you've got some hobbies, and you told me that one of them is gardening. You don't like it, but
I
you like
hate
what
it.
it produces.
Oh, I have this massive garden in the back, and we even gone so far as we have elevated beds, but we don't have like the ones that you have to bend over. I have an elevated. The whole backyard is one elevated garden
Oh wow.
beds. They're like 3 feet tall, so you don't really have to even bend over at all. I hate the journey of growing something from a seed and then getting it, watering it, fertilizing it, figuring out why are there bugs on it.
Yep.
I just want to go outside and pick a tomato.
Yeah, right. And
That's
is
all I
that what
want.
you so are tomatoes big then? I'm gonna not ask about potatoes. That seems like low-hanging
I don't,
fruit or veggies.
why would I grow them if I can buy them right down the street from a
Right.
potato farmer? No. Strawberries are my big thing here. I
Oh,
strawberry. Oh,
I
when you
never have
come
any
visit,
success with strawberries.
oh, I can't seem to kill them, which is great,
Right.
which is the perfect one for me to grow. Yeah, it's all set up on watering. Like I really don't have to touch it. And my husband does a lot of the work. I
Right.
just like the destination. I'm a destination person.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Well, you also like to listen to a podcast in particular that we're going to speak to, All There Is, with Anderson Cooper. But you tell me you're fascinated by the human condition, and so am I. So, what is it about the human condition? It's just what is it about it for you?
I think it's the story. It's how
Yeah.
we are all connected. And that's what I'm hearing in the podcasts that I like to listen to are all nonfiction, real life, hopefully what's going on right now in the world. And somebody's like, hey, hang on a minute. I got something to say. I'm going through something, and I'm going to bring in some friends to help me through this. And I think that's what I was drawn to this podcast to begin
Yeah.
with. Plus, Anderson Cooper is a journalist, so I know I'm going to get a lot of the things that I like, which is real life, not so much an editorial edge to it. And he really just takes us into his life grieving his mother. And then he
Yeah.
brings his other people in who are in the same process or have gone through it or will go through it. And I'm fascinated that grief is an equalizer for us in our life, right? Whether we
Hmm.
have it, we're going through it, we're going to cause it, all those things. And he is taking us into how he's going through it.
Yeah. So let's dig in, and we'll do so right after this.
Podfulness.
I know what it's like to work a long day, and you're tired, and then you get home and you realize, oh man, I got to make dinner. The kids are hungry. The dog needs to be fed. The chores are piling up, and you just need something good and something that you can make in a hurry. That's why I always turn to cereal. There's nothing wrong with a few bowls of cereal any time of day or night. It also makes for a great dessert. Cereal. It's dinner for lazy people like you and me. And now, back to the show. Anderson Cooper to me is very real. And the thing I love about Anderson Cooper is when he giggles, he can't stop. And there's just something so amusing about that because he's such a professional, right? And then when he starts giggling, it's the greatest. Does he do a little bit of that on his podcast?
He does talk about, some of the things he finds in his storage basement of these houses that his mother had that they shared, where she keeps everything. And he comes across something and he's like, there's cornflakes from 1950 in a box. Like,
Oh
how
my
does that
gosh.
happen? And it is pretty funny. But what when he started this, he talked with Stephen Colbert on Stephen Colbert's show,
Sure.
and he talked about, because Stephen Colbert has gone through great personal loss as well, and that's how they got connected. And then I think the podcast came after that because there was this just great half-hour talk between Stephen Colbert and Anderson Cooper that
Yeah.
was, how is this person going to help this other person get through this grief?
Yep.
Because you can stay in this grief for the rest of your life and be stopped and traumatized, or you
Yeah.
can use it to better yourself and help others through theirs, because we're all going to go through something.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
so
what I find fascinating.
so Anderson lost his mom, but did he also lose his brother?
He lost his dad. His dad died when he was young
Okay.
and also his brother committed suicide
Oh, okay.
when he was younger. So, I mean, talk about trauma. And
Yeah.
then what I find interesting is that Anderson himself says that he goes to war zones and places that have been just torn up by tornadoes because he wants to bear witness to the people that are in that trauma, to
Yeah.
say, hey, I see you, I understand, and I'm going to report on this so we can all see it.
And is that in a way how he deals with his own grief by helping others through theirs?
I mean, that's how I feel better when I help other people. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think so.
Right. So all of the guests, so does he have a guest that comes on to every episode?
He does.
Yeah. And these guests, are they all famous people like you, Vikki?
Well, actually, they're a lot more famous than me,
Right.
but one of them was Molly Shannon, the comedian,
Oh,
the
she lost
comedian
her mother very early.
in a car accident that
Yeah.
she was in the car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then her father was, or I'm not sure, still is, I can't remember, but alcoholic. So she grew up because he was grieving. So she grew up in that atmosphere. And who knew all this as she was making us laugh on Saturday Night Live?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
So when you peel back the layer of people and how we're all connected, that's where I'm fascinated. I'm like, tell me everything. I want to know
Yeah.
everything. And what are you, how is it now, that you've been through all this, and what are you doing now, and
Right.
how are you helping others now? And she is.
Yeah. And comedians draw upon a lot of pain, right? So they just turn that pain into comedy. How has it helped you process the pain in your life by listening to this
That's a
podcast?
It's a great question. It just makes me feel like I'm not the only one going through any of this,
Yeah.
right? And to be a part of helping somebody going through theirs is an honor, right? If you can do it. But reminds me to keep my sense of humor. That's the one thing that I
Right.
say in always difficult circumstances, to keep your sense of humor, and one step at a time, right?
Right.
One foot in front of the other, but deal with it,
Well,
be in it.
and I have to tell you, I have avoided listening to this podcast because I'm a pretty sensitive person and I already deal with my own issues. And I feel like this would depress me more. But that doesn't seem to be the
It's
case.
quite the opposite, because I
Okay.
thought the same thing. But each person that he has talks about the joy and the hope, and they're inspiring when I listen to them. There's one going through it right now where her father has dementia and he's in and out of
Mm,
lucidity. And when, she's talking about, she lost another family member to this, so she knows what to expect, but she's enjoying the moment now, but is also embracing the grieving because she's got somebody living with her right now that she's grieving. And
hmm
that's a fascinating thing, of all the emotions running through. but it's very inspiring. This podcast is very inspiring, which says, hey, we're all in this together. We've all had some pretty rough couple years,
Yeah.
but the grieving doesn't stop, right? So don't stop. You have to move through the process. And to me, I've always said, when you lose somebody, or there's a tragedy, the pain never stops. You just get used to it.
Mm,
So you carry it with you for the rest of your life. So how are you going to bring that with you? Because you're not ever going to put it down, but you just get used to that new normal.
right.
So in the new normal, keep your sense of humor and help others, and that will feed you, because we are all connected. So I find it amazing that I'm connected to all these people on this podcast. That's what I find amazing, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, isn't that why podcasts have blown up too? You feel connected. Even if you're listening to the humorous podcast, you still feel connected to these people. I'm fascinated by the fact that we just finished. Well, it's obviously COVID is still going on, but we go through this time where we're sequestered in our homes for 2 years. And you think, once this is over, I'm going to have a new leash on life. I'm going to be so appreciative. And I feel like I feel like we're further apart now. How is it that we possibly can be less connected now than we were during COVID?
Because we stayed in our new normal, and we didn't reach out to sometimes it's hard to reach out to others when you can't physically be in a room with them. So I think I'm guilty of the same thing. I got used to my routine, right? And
Yeah.
then my company was like, get back out on a plane and go see your customers. I'm like, wait, I got to do that now? I thought I was over that.
Hmm.
But then I was starting to do it, and I forgot how much I love our customers, and they really like us. And so that human connection is so vital. But I think that human connection is going to feed us. And if we are not feeding us with that human connection, we are going to stay in our little corners. And there are people that have really gone forward and moved fast through this. And there are people that are going to still stay in their corner that we have to put out of hand.
Yeah.
And I think this podcast do that, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. That's why I'm a fan. So all there is with Anderson Cooper, are there new episodes being produced, or was it just a like a mini series?
Oh, it was a series. I think there's 8 or 9 of them, and they would come out, and I would get an Instagram feed, that the new one was out, and I would stop what I was doing to go listen after the first couple
Wow.
when I realized how powerful they just were for me and speaking to me. I was like, okay, stop. I gotta listen to Anderson. So,
Right.
and that's what I would do. And I didn't go back and re-listen to them, and I don't know why I didn't, because I really like them a lot. But I think I've gotten what I need from them, and I'm waiting to see what he does next with anticipation.
Well, now we're going to change gears a little bit, okay? Because we're to the point in the show where I like to play a game with my guest. And this game is called What Do You Think?
Podfulness.
And this is the way it works. You're a curious person, right, Vikki?
Sure.
You ask great questions and you think outside the box. Would you say that's true?
Uh, sure.
Okay. We're going to play a game, What Do You Think? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start each question with the line, What do you think? And then you are going to give the answer. All right. Now, if your answer is correct, if I deem it correct, you will receive 20 points. If I deem it incorrect, you get 0 points. And if I deem it partially correct, you get 10 points. You know what? The scoring is all convoluted. It doesn't matter because you're not going to win anything. There is no
Oh, I was
prize.
gonna say, where are the
No.
fabulous prizes? No, just talking with you is my fabulous prize. Is that what
That's
you're about to tell
exactly
me?
right, Vikki.
Perfect.
I am the prize. So here we go. There's going to be 7 questions. Are you ready?
Wow. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Question number 1. What do you think an adult bald eagle weighs?
Uh, 14 pounds.
14 pounds. Okay. Gonna
I
write
think
that
they're
one.
all feather. Aren't they all feathers?
I don't know. Well, there's got to be some like bones in
Gotta
there,
be
right?
some muscle. Well, sure.
And some food. Yes. They're all
Sure.
feathers. So basically 14 pounds of feathers. Okay. Question number 2. What do you think Anderson Cooper eats for breakfast?
Um, in one of his interviews or something, he doesn't put any priority on food, so I
I
don't
know.
think he eats anything.
Okay. Nothing.
Try coffee, or
Coffee.
Red
Okay.
Bull. Done.
Okay. Question number 3. What do you think Santa would want for Christmas?
Oh, oh my gosh.
I know.
A beach.
A A beach. He wants to be
Isn't
able
he
to
a
take
little
that
tired
hat
of the
off.
snow? He's a little tired of the snow.
That's right. Okay. Number 4. What do you think about wearing white after Labor Day?
100%.
You're for it or against it?
I don't live by the rules. Of course, wear it. If it makes you happy, wear it.
Okay. I don't know if that's correct or not. We'll find out. Number 5. What do you think when you hear this sound?
Water dripping.
Water dripping.
No,
Okay.
like from a faucet that is broken.
Okay.
That was
I didn't-
good, Mark. You did that yourself.
I used to do it much better. Okay.
Wow.
Very good. Number 6. What do you think it would cost to fly from Boise to Belize? What do you think the cost of that ticket would be around
In
now?
my first class?
No, of course not.
In my round trip?
No, you're back there with me in economy. Round trip.
I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. But round trip, it's $1,400.
$1,400 to Belize. And number 7, what do you think was the first toy advertised on television?
Mr. Potato Head, that you had to use a real potato and all you got was the attachments.
Wow. You seem to be confident.
That's
Oh,
very
that's
specific.
right. That's right. You're from Idaho. Okay. Well, we'll find out if you're correct. Okay. So let's review your answers, Vikki. Are you ready?
Sure.
Question number 1. What do you think an adult bald eagle weighs? Oh my gosh. Female bald eagles are about 25% larger than males. White female bald eagles weigh 10 to 15 pounds.
I'm done.
You said
Done.
14.
I'm already winning. That's
Oh
it.
my gosh. That's 20 points for you. And males weigh about 6 to 9 pounds. Hard to believe
makes no
something
sense.
that gigantic in the sky weighs less than 10 pounds.
All feather. You want to know how I know this answer?
Yes.
Back in the day, I used to have chickens, and when you pick up a chicken, they weigh like 2 pounds, but they're all feather. They look heavier.
I want to hear more about your history with chickens. Okay, number 2. What do you think Anderson Cooper eats for breakfast? You said, nothing, maybe coffee, Red Bull. And I said it's probably something weird because he's a notoriously picky eater. So that's another 20 points for you. Vikki, you're cleaning up.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 3, what do you think Santa wants for Christmas? Whatever answer you're going to give is correct. You said the beach. So that's another 20 for you. We're looking at 60 points. You're killing it.
Winning. Hashtag winning.
That's right. Question 4, what do you think about wearing white after Labor Day? My answer, the correct answer is, who cares? And you said, you don't live by the rules. So I cannot believe you're acing this test. So question number 5, what do you think when you hear this sound? Right? You said rain. That's incorrect. Sorry.
I said water dripping from a faucet.
Yeah, water dripping from faucet.
Incorrect.
You know what? That's
What
also
is it?
incorrect. The correct answer is 7th grade study hall. That's what you're supposed to think of. Okay? So 7th grade study hall. That's the sound I heard all the time in middle school coming from the back row. Number 6, what do you think it would cost to fly from Boise to Belize? You said $1,400. I looked this up before we got on the phone here. $600 to $700.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bring the
We could
family.
buy 2 tickets at your price. So that's it. So we got to take off 10 points. So you're back down to 60. And finally, what was the first toy advertised on television? April 30th, 1952, Mr. Potato Head. The first
Was
toy
it
advertised
really?
on television.
Did I
You
get
are
it
correct,
right?
Vikki. Yes.
Oh,
So you
my
get 80
gosh.
points. That's the most points ever scored in this game because it's the first time we've ever played it. This was fun.
High marks. That's high marks.
Okay, that's right. Congratulations. I'll be mailing you your prize, so expect that sometime soon. So you are Vikki Lange. I am Mark Bernstein. Vikki, thanks for coming on Podfulness with me.
This has been so much fun. I wish I could do it again, but
Well-
I don't think so.
Well, if I can't find any more guests, I'm going to give you a call.
I might not answer that phone, but this was fun. Thank you, Mark.
That does it for another episode of Podfulness, but I do have one question for you before we wrap things up. Do you have a podcast that you love to listen to? Maybe it's a podcast that inspires you or makes you laugh or simply makes you forget about life for a while. We want to hear from you, so reach out via Twitter or Instagram. The handle is @Podfulness. I'm not super active on social media, but I promise I will get your message. Or you could just send me an email and send that to podfulness@gmail.com. That's podfulness@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Mark Bernstein, and I will catch you next time on
Podfulness.